Hi everyone, my name is Austin. I'm an Oklahoma 4-H STEMist, and today we will be going over the STEM activity that is a part of the Thinking in Pictures lesson provided by Oklahoma Ag in the Classroom. This lesson is inspired by Dr. Temple Grandin, who is a well-known animal scientist and professor. Dr. Grandin designed her own alleyway and cattle chute system that is used in most all manufacturing and cattle operations in both the United States and Canada. So today we are actually going to be doing this STEM activity, and we will be building our very own alleyway system on a smaller scale, implementing some of Dr. Grandin's design. So for today's activity, we are going to be building our corral system on a paper plate. Finding an oval one is the best just because it gives you more space to build your design, and then having one that has high sides is more beneficial because we will be using marbles today to represent our cattle in our corral system. So when you put them on the paper plate with the high sides, they can roll around and they won't fall off. You can build your corral system using a variety of materials. You can keep it very simple and just use construction paper and tape or glue. For today's lesson, I will be using foam pieces with hot glue just to make it a little bit sturdier, and then you can also have a ruler and some scissors just to cut everything, and then I will be using a marker for my design just to kind of sketch it out on my plate. In order to complete today's activity, we're going to go through the engineering process. So first, we need to identify our problem. Well, the first thing we know is that we want to get our cattle through our corral system into the chute. So that will be our problem. Next, we're going to brainstorm ideas of how we are going to solve our problem. So this is where you'll think about the materials from the materials we listed before that you are going to want to use, that you think will best help you complete your corral system design to solve your problem. And then next, we have our design or drawing process. So we are going to design out our corral system. For today's purposes, I went ahead and drew my design out on my plate. So I have my cattle, which will be down here in the starting pen, and then I have a gate that they will then funnel into the alleyway and go through and have them end up in the cattle chute. So now we're going to build our corral system. If you would like, you can pause this video and build your own, or you can follow along with me. There are just 3 criteria that we have when building our corral system. Is that it needs to have a starting pen, there needs to be at least 3 turns that the cattle have to go through, and then they must end up in a single file line that ends in the chute. So now that we have created our model and tested our design, now it's time to look at the improvements that we can make. So for my design, when I looked at my 3 criteria, I had my starting pin, my alleyway had 3 turns, so 1, 2, and 3, and then it ended in a squeeze chute. However, my design, my alleyway was a little bit too narrow for my cattle to make their way through, so an improvement that I will need to make will be to widen my alleyway for my cattle to make it all the way through to the end. So when we look back at the criteria set for our design of having 3 turns, I want you to look at your design and your model, if you have built one, and look at it, and did you build straight turns, or did you have curved turns like I did? Dr. Grandin is very well known for her corral system, but there's one piece of it, about it, that is what makes it stand out opposed to others. She is an animal science professor and observed that cattle's natural want is to move into a circular pattern. So she developed her corral system with curved chutes, so that way the cattle think that they are going back around and going to be actually ending back up in the pen, as opposed to them knowing or being able to see that they are going into a squeeze chute. So when you look at your design, if you have any kind of straight turns, then that is an improvement that you would need to make. And then once you have all of those improvements made, the final process step in the engineering process is to share your results. So for me, it was needing to make my alleyway wider and then having those curved chutes. You would just share what worked well for you and what needed improvement. For more information regarding the STEM activity provided by Oklahoma Ag in the Classroom, please visit 4h.okstate.edu.